Good evening, everyone. Ooh, sorry. Can I ask you all to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I'm sorry, and we'll also have a moment of silence for the brother of Terry Ann Pumafredo, my father-in-law, retirees Charles Kalinowski and Teresa Lisa, and the father of Lori Gottlieb. Thank you. Welcome to our meeting for October. I just want to make a quick announcement that unfortunately Tony Greco isn't available to be with us this evening. He had a death in the family. And I believe Adam Fisher is joining us through Zoom this evening. He's still experiencing some COVID symptoms. So they both apologize for not being here this evening. We'll start with our agenda. Item D, approval of minutes. Item E, acknowledgement and acceptance of financial reports and budget transfers as printed. Communications to the Board of Education. Communications were received from Jennifer Strauss and Jennifer Kramer. Do I have a motion? Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Superintendent's report, Mr. McNamara.
Whoa, that's loud. Whew. All right, sorry about that. Woke everybody up. Good evening, everyone. Welcome this evening. Thank you for attending. A couple things for me tonight. Always like to start off with some good news. We'll start off just by recognizing our Board of Education. Unfortunately, not all of our members are here this evening, but coming up in 2 weeks is our Board Recognition Week. New York State School Boards Association does that. Right before the meeting, we presented the board with a gift from our students and staff. Our board members put in lots of hours, lots of meetings and lots of events, and we just wanted to take a moment to thank them for their dedicated service to the board. Board members that are here this evening, Tara Cassidy serves as our vice president for our Board of Education. She's in our 3rd year of service. Laura Reich is our president and in her 4th year of service to the board, and Jennifer Perfetti, who's in her 1st year of service. Tony Greco is in his 11th year of service to the board, and Adam Fisher in his 6th year of service. So we thank them for their leadership and all the dedication and time they put in to our district. So thank you very much. A little bit later in our agenda, we're going to be accepting a retirement from one of our typist clerk, Maggie Sanagato. Maggie serves in our PPS office in district registration. She's been with us for the past several years, does a really nice job. Those of you that have recently registered a child have probably worked with Maggie in that capacity, and I thank her for her service. Unfortunately, she was unable to be here this evening, but once again, I just wanted to congratulate her on her retirement. Some folks would like to recognize, we got some good news over the past couple of weeks. One is our high school varsity football and baseball coach, Keith Sachs. Last week, Nassau County Athletics, Section 8, held their Hall of Fame dinner, and he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Keith has been dedicated to our athletic program for many, many years and has served us well in that capacity, so congratulations to him. And I also like to congratulate our new assistant principal at Wantagh Middle School, Rachel Quattrochi, who was recognized by the New York State English Council. She received their Collaborator of Excellence Award. She'll be officially receive the award up at their conference next month, but I wanted to congratulate both of them on that significant recognition as well. Before I get into the other portion of my report, Newsday ran an article on Sunday about COVID relief funding, and I had gotten some questions from the community about it, so I just figured I'd address it this evening as well. The article that Newsday ran focused on COVID relief dollars that school districts had received as part of the American Rescue Plan, and that was those were dollars that we didn't, as a district, did not receive as large amounts as other districts did. So I just wanted to explain that briefly. There were three buckets, if you will, of COVID relief money that districts received over the course of the past several years to help with COVID-related expenses. The first was the CARES Act, and also the CRRSA Act. Those are the first two areas of funding. We received funding during that time through those packages. The last package, though, the ARP package, was based on your Title I funding. Title I funding in districts is based on your level of poverty that you have in your district. So unfortunately, we don't receive Title I dollars. In our district, we don't meet the criteria. You need at least a 2% poverty rate in your district to qualify for Title I funding. About 3 years ago, we dipped just below that. We were at about 1.96%. So we didn't qualify for Title I funding at that time. And as a result, didn't qualify for a large portion of the ARP funding. We did receive some discretionary funding that New York State had the ability to allocate us, and that was about $700,000 for very specific items that we could target, which was learning loss, which was summer school, and academic support. So we did qualify in those areas. So I had received some inquiries from the community, and why weren't we referenced in the article? Why weren't we on the list? And I just wanted to give a little background to that. Overall, we received over $3 million in COVID relief funding, in large part to offset our expenses that we incurred during COVID, hiring of additional staff, reducing class size at the elementary schools, additional personnel for COVID support, all those different items, in addition to supplies that we needed, desk shields, masks, all of those other items that we purchased, custodial overtime, all of those areas. So I just wanted to give a little bit of background, being that I received some inquiries. All right, and then lastly for me tonight, the board's going to be taking some action a little bit later to pass a resolution to move forward with a bond referendum. The board is planning to offer a referendum to the community on December 6th to do a good amount of facilities work here in the district. So I just wanted to give a quick review of that tonight. I wanted to say a thank you to all the members of our community that have been attending our different informational meetings to date. We had one last week, and we have a lot of information that we'll continue to post on our website and send out. So I just want to give a quick overview tonight of our bond referendum. As I said, December 6th is when we will be offering the bond referendum to the community. Voting will take place at each one of our elementary schools from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. And a few reasons why we've made a decision to go ahead and move forward with the bond at this time. One is this was part of our long-range plan. We had really targeted this particular time for a bond referendum when we did our initial strategic planning several years ago. We had a capital improvements committee that has met throughout the year last year to identify the areas of need. And we were delayed a little bit by COVID, by about a year or so, but we wanted to get that work back on track last year, and we did. So they made some recommendations to our Board of Education, and across all our buildings are aging. Average age of our building is over 65 years old. And we have some debt service that for previous projects that have been done over the past 15 to 20 years that is now going to be paid in full in 2023 and 2024. As a result of that debt service coming off our books, we have an opportunity to borrow some additional funds without incurring significant additional costs, and really do it in a budget neutral way for a portion of our projects. So we also wanted to leverage the opportunity to take advantage of state dollars as well. We receive about 62% state aid on capital projects that we do. So for every dollar we spend, we get about 60 cents back on that dollar. So there's going to be three propositions that we're going to ask voters to vote on December 6th. We've divided the projects into three different categories. Proposition 1 is a lot of our infrastructure work and really falls into three categories. One is window replacements. We have a number of windows that need to be replaced across the district. 2 is HVAC work, which is our unit ventilators that you see in every classroom. They supply fresh air and heat in our classrooms, and electrical service upgrades to support that work. It totals $39.5 million to do that work, and once again, that's across all 5 buildings. Window replacements, you can see you have some of the windows in need of repair, but you can see the breakdown here across all of our buildings and the total there. The unit ventilators, right now we have many of our instructional spaces air conditioned, but we do that with window units. The unit ventilators that we would replace our aging unit ventilators with would be a heating and cooling system to be more efficient, be quiet in our classrooms, so would do both. And the electrical service upgrades to support that work. The second proposition is to upgrade this facility, the district auditorium, and athletic fields across our district and playgrounds as well. You can see the breakdown there. And these are some of the architects' renderings of some of the renovations they would make throughout this space, upgrading seating, upgrading the sound and lighting systems that go along with that. Athletic fields would be to resurface our existing, here at the high school, middle school complex, resurface our baseball field, softball field, and do another all-purpose field in the middle, all in turf. You can see that highlighted here, what that would look like. Additional bleachers added on our main field as well, and relocating our concession stand with bathrooms. Yeah, you're free to ask questions later. This isn't the public comment portion of it, but I'm happy to talk to you about that afterwards. Okay, just not to, no, understood, but just not to shout out during the meeting. This is an informational portion of it. I'm happy to do a Q&A with you after, and I'm happy to go through that, and I'll go back and highlight for you, but just not to interrupt during the business portion of the meeting. And once again, I'm just going to ask that you don't shout during the meeting. Thank you. And then in addition, at Forest Lake, you can see here the 2 additional fields. Those are fields we currently use. They're grass fields. This would be turf fields with bleachers in the middle of those as well. And then adding a bathroom and concession area as well. We currently have an existing turf field that the community had donated for softball and Little League, and this would finish that project with turf in the outfield as well. And then in addition, our elementary playgrounds, upgrading those across all of our buildings. There's about $900,000 in playground upgrades at each of the 3 elementary schools that is planned. And then the last proposition is Proposition 3, and that would be for cafeteria renovations, renovating the existing cafeterias here at Wantagh High School, the kitchens here at the high school and all 3 elementary schools, some courtyard renovations here at the high school and middle school, the high school library, and then bathrooms across the district. We have about $3 million in bathroom renovations to do across all 5 buildings. Here you can see the highlighted bathroom renovations across the middle school and high school, Forest Lake, Mandalay, and Wantagh Elementary School. These are some of the renderings for the cafeteria renovations and updating this space. And once again, this is here at Wantagh High School. This is our library here at the high school. upgrading this space, and rooms 150, 152, and making some outdoor learning spaces as extensions of that in our existing courtyard. This is a summary of the three projects, the three propositions. The way that this is set up is that Proposition 1, our infrastructure project, would need to pass for Proposition 2 or 3 to pass. So if Proposition 1 passes, then 2 or 3 could pass. Voters will vote on each one of them separately. Proposition 1 could pass, and Proposition 2 could fail. Proposition 3 could pass, so Proposition 1 and 3 would then pass. So 2 and 3 are not contingent upon each other. But because the infrastructure work is the critical portion of the work that we certainly wanted to highlight for you, that really needs to get done, we wanted to separate that work out and give the community some choices there. Project number 1, Proposition 1, we can really do in a budget neutral way with the debt service that I highlighted that's coming off the books in 2023 and 24 from previous projects. Our extensions at our elementary schools, the North Gym project at the high school. With that debt service being retired, we can really do that whole proposition, that $39.5 million in a budget neutral way without having any kind of significant impact to our tax levy. The other two projects, you can see we highlighted what we anticipate the cost of those projects would be here and what that potentially means to our taxpayers. You can see the proposition number 2 would be roughly $11 per month or $130 annually, and proposition 3, $9 per month or $106 annually. And in addition, we also have some other work that we would do in conjunction with this through our Capital Reserve Fund, some rooftop work for our HVAC units, exterior doors, some roofing work, gym renovations, some classroom renovations, as well as masonry work, asphalt, fencing, concrete work as well through our district budget. And we would phase that work in over really between 2023 to begin some of that work, working right through till 2028 to complete that work. So it would be phased in over a 5-year period. We spent a lot of time, about 2 hours at our last informational meeting on September 28th. We have 2 more. We'll be going through all of this in great detail with the community. The next informational meeting is on Monday, October 17th, followed by a meeting on Monday, November 14th. And all of the meetings will be held at 7 o'clock right here at Wantagh High School. They'll be in our North Gymnasium. In addition, all of this information, all of these slides, as well as all of the presentations we've done have been recorded and are on our district website. There are 2 shorter videos. One's about a 2-minute video that highlights all of the projects that we posted to the district website last week. The other is about a 15-minute video, which I narrate these slides and go over those in detail. That's posted to the district website. And then all of the full meeting from September 28th is available on the district website. And as I said, that runs a little bit lengthy. It's about 2 hours, but you can look at various parts of that as well. And if you're not a registered voter, voter registration will take place on November 29th. We did an initial newsletter to the community about the bond that went out last week or about a week and a half ago. And we have a follow-up that'll go out towards the end of this month with much more extensive detail on the bond initiative as well. I also want to thank all of you who participated in our survey. We posted the results of that survey to the community. That's posted on the district website as well. And once again, the bond vote will take place on Tuesday, December 6th. And that's it from my report. I'll turn it back over to Mrs. Reich.
Okay. Thank you very much, John. Getting back to our agenda, item H, report of the administration. Item H1, personnel actions, instructional staff. H1A, resignations. B, requests for leave of absence. C, rescission of club and extracurricular appointments. D, appointment to club extracurricular activities. E, appointment to coaching assignments. And F, appointment of instructional substitutes. Can I have a motion?
Move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item H2, personnel actions, civil service. Item H2A, retirement. A letter of resignation for the purpose of retirement has been received from a member of our civil service staff. We wish Maggie Santagato health and happiness in her retirement and thank her for her years of dedicated service. Item H2B, resignations. C, changes in title. And D, appointments of civil service personnel. Can I have a motion?
Move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item H3, contractual and other authorizations. H3A, Wantagh Seaford Tract Center Courses Fall Winter Program. Item B, strategic evaluation data collection analysis reporting, SEDCAR agreements. C, special education tuition contract. D, related service agreement. E, business advisory board. F, disposal of obsolete books. And G, extracurricular clubs name change. I just would like to please let the minutes reflect that the name changes are as follows. At Wantagh Elementary School, Sports Analytics Club is to be changed to musical theater. And at Wantagh High School, the Gay Straight Alliance changes to the Pride Club and Spanish Club to International Club. Can I have a motion?
Move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item I, unfinished business, there is none. And item J, new business. We're resolved that the Board of Education accept the attached notice of special district meeting, which is to be published 4 times within 7 weeks preceding the December 6th, 2022 special district meeting, and authorize the district clerk or her designee to publish same. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
And second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that concludes our business portion of the meeting. We will now move to our groups, starting with our student government report from Sean and Nyla.
Good evening, everyone. At the end of this past month, 2 important events were held here at Wantagh High School. On September 22nd, Lily Sloves, who is Miss Wantagh for the 2022 and 2023 school year, held an epilepsy awareness night in this auditorium to raise awareness for seizure first aid and those who suffer from epilepsy, and all the donations made that night went directly to the Epilepsy Foundation. Freshman Field Day was also held on September 23rd, where the Physical Education Leaders Club hosted the new class out on the turf in competitions with one another and a series of outdoor games throughout the day.
There are several key events looking forward to October as well. The class of 2024 will be holding a car wash at the high school on Saturday, October 8th from 9:30 to 12 p.m. Key Club members will be participating in the Autism Speaks Walk at Jones Beach this Sunday, October 9th, to support the needs of people with autism and their families throughout their life's journeys. Our school's pep rally and homecoming will take place next week on Friday, October 14th and Saturday, October 15th, and its seniors are currently voting for Homecoming King and Queen. Once again, the themes for the floats this year are music genres. The seniors chose disco, the juniors have country, sophomores picked hip hop, and the freshmen went with rock.
And on October 21st, our school will hold its first blood drive of the 2022 to 2023 school year, where students can volunteer to donate blood at any time during the day. This is an extremely important event since the American Red Cross and hospitals nationwide are facing a national blood shortage. So students ages 16 and up are eligible to donate. Also ending October off strong is the Halloween Spooktacular on Thursday, October 27th. After school, each club and sport will have the chance to decorate their own assigned classroom and prepare to greet Wantagh's children in elementary school as they wander throughout the school dressed up in costumes, knocking on each classroom's door, getting candy, being able to play fun Halloween games, and even performing some Halloween-themed science experiments along the way.
Lastly, throughout the month of October, the Physical Education Leaders Club will be selling breast cancer awareness t-shirts to fundraise for the National Breast Cancer Foundation. Additionally, juniors Bridget Smith and Sienna Delio are Wantagh ambassadors for the Morgan's Message Foundation. The Morgan's Message Foundation advocates and spreads awareness for the mental health of student athletes. They are also raising money through the school for this wonderful foundation, as well as throughout this month. Those are all of the upcoming events for October. Thank you for your time here tonight.
Thank you, Sean and Nyla. Next, we have the Foundation for Educational Excellence.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Liz Goover here from the foundation. So we have two important things to note. With regards to our first program, we have a mini grant program for our teachers that we actually have opened. The applications are available for our teachers. This is a great resource for our teachers to get funding for various things. The key to the mini grant program is to help fund any teacher initiatives, classroom initiatives. Last year, our foundation funded 9 grants that varied from field trips to science projects that some of our students participated in, a drama library. So these are some things that we had helped fund last year, and we're hoping to continue to fund any teacher initiative grants. So applications are available on our website. All teachers from the 5 schools are welcome to apply. The deadline is October 31st, and we look to announce our winners, our first grant recipients, in November. The second thing we'd like to mention is, similar to last year, we're also bringing back our Tech Buddy program, and this is geared towards our first graders and kindergartners. A lot of them are new to their Chromebooks, and a lot of our middle school students and high school students are going to participate in this Tech Buddy program. It's on November 6th. It's a free program that is about an hour-long session where our young students will work with our older students to navigate through the Chromebooks and kind of get familiar with it. So again, this is a free program on November 6th, and that is also available if they want to apply for the or register for it. It's on the website as well under initiatives. So those are 2 great programs that we have going on from the foundation. And if the teachers have any questions, feel free to reach out about the mini grant program, but we hope that our teachers take advantage of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. PTA, Forest Lake. Anybody? Perfect.
Hi, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Katie Savage, and I'm the co-president of Forest Lake PTA. Starting over the summer, our beautification heads spearheaded getting a new courtyard done and paved in the middle of Forest Lake. It was a huge event. Our PTA donated $15,000 to have it done, and we're very proud of the work that's done there, and it's an outdoor space now for the students to use during the school day. We had our annual back-to-school bash at the end of August, which had over 400 people attend. Coming up, book fair. Our Halloween bash is on October 28th from 5 to 7 p.m. and our next PTA meeting is October 26th at 7:30 p.m. Thank you.
Thanks, Katie. Mandalay PTA? Nobody? Okay, how about Wantagh PTA? No. SEPTA?
Hi, everyone. I'm Trisha Williams from the Board of SEPTA.
I'm Mary Beth Reynolds.
Before I start, I just wanted to add my appreciation to Mr. McNamara's, to the board. We just recognize all the work that you do on behalf of our children. So we just, on behalf of our board and membership, would like to say thank you for your dedication. We appreciate all the work you do for us. As far as upcoming SEPTA events, we have our membership ongoing, so we welcome everyone to join SEPTA. We would love to have you as a member. On Monday, we have our family movie event. It's Hocus Pocus 2, which I hear is a great movie, so we're all very excited about that. It's in the morning on Monday the 10th, so we would really appreciate the support of the community. We really need to sell some more tickets to the movie, so we would love to see everyone there. We are also kicking off our Boone Supply fundraiser. We do this every year. You may be familiar. It's the reusable totes and some holiday gifts. They have some really nice products, so we are excited to kick that off. So you'll be receiving an email about how to see what's available and place an order. And our first meeting is taking place on Wednesday, October 12th. It's a meet and greet, and we're pretty excited about that. We do have a door prizes that, everyone who attends the meeting will be entered to win an autographed copy of Forever Boy by Kate Swenson, who is also going to be a speaker for our group. She's going to be, there'll be a virtual meeting on October 24th where you can hear Kate Swenson speak, and I hear she's fabulous, so we're excited about that as well. So we're hoping for a good turnout on for our first meeting, October 12th, and we're also hoping to see some community members on Monday for our movie event. Thank you very much.
Thank you. 612 Association?
Good evening, Chrissy Rothhop, 612 co-president, and my pal who needs no introduction, Mary Beth Reynolds. We would also like to express our gratitude to the board and congratulations in Board Appreciation Week. So thank you for everything you guys do. Mary Beth, well, I don't know about you, but this weekend I really could have used a, wait for it.
Under my umbrella, Ella. Under my Wantagh umbrella, Ella.
Sales are pouring in on our Wantagh umbrellas. Order yours on Member Hub or pick one up at our homecoming. Da-da-da-dun. Da-da-da-dun. 612 is so excited to announce that we've teamed up with our student organizations for our first ever spooktacular event. There will be crafts, games, and plenty of fun for our young elementary community. Siblings are welcome, free admission, but we request that a donation of a canned or non-perishable food item be given.
And we were singing, bye, bye, Miss American Pie. No need to show up empty-handed to your Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving celebrations. Order from a variety of pies and other sweets with our White Post Farms 612 fundraiser.
Olay, 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 olay. 612 and the Guac Shop have got you covered the week of October 23rd and through October 29th. Use the coupon code WARRIORS for your 10% off as all online orders from our Wantagh location. And we're making 10% of the profits, so please dip in for this fundraiser. Thank you.
Thank you.
PTA Council?
That's going to be a really hard act to follow, so don't expect that, okay? Very, very good. So, but really, that was fantastic. I'm not singing though. No. All right, so the first meeting is October 13th at Forest Lake at 7 p.m. We welcome everyone and ideas, suggestions, and everyone's welcome. The blood drive though was canceled on the 18th. However, the high school, I think that you had noted, was going to be on Friday the 21st. So that's not rescheduled, but anyone that was going to attend on the 18th will be there, will be called or notified for the 21st. And I think that was pretty much about it. Yeah? Yeah. How's that? That's perfect. All right, you want to say something? No. Okay. Bye.
Thank you very much. Sports Booster Club. Okay, how about Bandwagon? And Drama Club. Okay. Okay, at this time, we'll open up the mic to anyone in the community who would like to address us up here.
How you doing tonight? Perry Fuchs. I have a daughter in Mandalay, second grade. I have a question and then a statement. So my first is, you mentioned the debt service, and I know that debt service is part of the tax cap calculation. So if the community does not approve the bond, how will that affect our tax cap in the future? Do you want me to finish and then? Okay, sure, great. So my second is a statement, and this is to the community. I have the privilege in my position where I work that I get the opportunity to go around to lots of schools and see their facilities. Our facilities here are woefully, at a woeful state compared to a lot of other school districts in the area. We absolutely have to improve our home for our children. I'm confident that any person in this community who lived in a house that is in the state of condition that our schools are in would not be able to live in that house. We cannot go forward for another 10, 20 years and not fix the problems that we have. It absolutely has to be passed. Our kids deserve it. Our community deserves it. And not for nothing, in the end, no matter how great we think Wantagh schools are, and I absolutely think that they're a great school district, I moved here 7 years ago specifically for these schools. And if we don't fix our home values, and when I say our home, I'm talking about the schools themselves. If we don't fix this in the future, we're very foolish to think that people will just come here based on reputation. It won't happen. So I passionately urge the community to pass the bond and fix our facilities. They are really behind most of the other schools in this area. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Perry.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, I'm Marilyn Rich. I'm a resident. My children attend school in the district. I had a couple of questions about the bond, just because a lot of people have asked me questions and use me as a resource sometimes in the district. I just wanted to ask if it would be possible, when we explain the tax implication on the propositions, there are a lot of people that have expressed some confusion on, what that actually means as compared to their own assessment, their own home. Is it possible to illustrate how we got there by assessment? I think originally we said how we got to those numbers was based on a home assessment of about $427,000. There was someone that said to me she thought that the tax implication would be $200 a month. I said to her, no, that's not the case. Just trying to I think people would be more comfortable if they can assess their own financial situation looking at this at each proposition. And I'm assuming each proposition is standalone and would be, voted as per that way. And I think people would appreciate it. Maybe an illustration of a chart. If your house is assessed at $400,000, what your implication would be. If your house is assessed at $800,000, if it's an easy, I'm not very good at math, but if it's an easy mathematical equation, I think people would appreciate that. Thank you for the update on the Newsday article. That was something that myself and a lot of people were concerned that we were not included in that information, as Newsday is a major newspaper for our community. And I did, Superintendent McNamara and I have discussed a lot of these buckets of fundings quite often. It just gets so overwhelming. But I was just curious if Newsday ever contacted us or why we were not a participant in that. A lot of people were kind of taken back by us not being there. Also, class sizes is something I'd like to bring to the attention of the board and the district. As we know, Hochul signed a bill lowering class sizes in New York City, K-3 capped at 20, grades 4 to 8 at 23, high school at 25. My son is in 5th grade at Wantagh Elementary School. He is currently in a class with 26 students. And there are, and I've discussed this with Ms. Winans, there are 4 classes and 7 teachers in that grade. I don't know as a district if we are making any plans to address this and to kind of be on the same level as where Hochul has decided New York City should be, where these class sizes should be. So I was wondering if there is a plan of action in the future to bring our class sizes down to that level, which I think most parents would think is more acceptable. Lastly, I had the honor of attending a event last week with Commissioner Patrick Ryder, and we were talking about the community awareness programs, which I brought up to the board now. I think this is the fourth time that I'm bringing this up. They do have a new social media program. It explains the consequences of looking at it, when kids are at something that's happening and they videotape it instead of calling the police. There's a lot of important consequences that could happen because of that. I think it's important that we teach our children the value of social media. The district has been doing an amazing job keeping their social media active, and I know we have programs, but the Nassau County Police Department does put an amazing spin on what's necessary and what could happen if the kids do it the wrong way, and if they take to social media and they're videotaping an incident and things like that. So that's just one of the programs that the police department is offering. And I think it's a valuable resource that we should explore. And to this point, I don't think the lieutenant that's in charge has been contacted by the district. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you, board, for all you do.
Thank you, Marilyn. Anyone else?
All right, seeing no one else, that will close our public comment period. Thank you all who participated. Let me address some of the questions. Mr. Fuchs, thank you for your comments about the bond. You're correct. So the debt service that is scheduled to come off the books, there's a debt service payment in 2023 and 2024. That's what I was referencing earlier. Those are for projects that we have previously done, extensions at our elementary schools and in the North Gym here at the high school. When that debt service comes off, that sits outside our tax cap calculation. So the plan would be to replace that debt service with new debt service, with really trying to do it in a budget neutral way. If that were to roll off, you potentially lose that opportunity to do it without having kind of peaks and valleys in your cap. We're trying to really smooth that out as much as we can for taxpayers. If you were allowed to roll off, you would see a decrease in the tax levy as a result of that. And then when it comes time to do that work, if you ultimately want to do that work, even at 4 or 5 years from now, then you would see a significant jump. So instead of kind of the steady 2% that you typically see across Long Island, across New York State, you could see a decrease and then a spike, right? So in order to keep it level, that's why we kind of pointed at this particular time in Wantagh's history to target that for that. So I hope that answers your question in regards to that. In terms of some of the other questions, the assessed value, we actually did this in detail on September 28th to talk about that in terms of the average home. The numbers that I listed earlier, so Proposition 1, we're trying to do in a budget neutral way. Proposition 2 for the $11 a month or $9 a month, and Proposition 3 for the $11 a month. That's on the average home. The gentleman to my right does a really nice job of explaining assessed value versus market value versus all those things. So I'm going to just turn it over to him to talk about that. We do have a slide. I didn't do it tonight, but it is on the website and the presentation that we did on the 28th that actually goes through all that. So I'll let him share in kind of briefly about that.
So the Reader's Digest version of kind of what we went through at the last bond meeting was 2 planning sessions ago, I believe it was. Somebody asked that question about, what's the average house and what do people pay tax on in Wantagh? And I gave the number, and we get all of that from the county. So in the slide that was referenced, you can see where I get that information from. They send it out countywide. It's $427,000. And although I can't see anybody from the light in my eye, in the room that night, I watched the reaction in everybody's face, right? Because people go, what are you, nuts? $427,000 in Wantagh. I even hear some snickers now, right? So that's the reaction. But what I explained was, you have what your fair market value of your house is worth, you have what it's assessed at, and then you have what you pay tax on. And usually what happens is somebody sells their house, right? Everybody wants to live in the $1 million house. I can get $1 million for my house. Then around this time every year, they'll call me and say, I can't believe how high my tax bill is. I say, well, that's because you live in $1 million house, but you want to pay tax on a $200,000 house, right? That's the year-long question that I get. And those are the differences between them. So when you live in a house and you may say, oh, $600,000 or $700,000, and maybe that seems more realistic, that may in fact be what your house is worth. But then you have what the county assesses that house at. And if you listen to the news, or you may recall hearing, the county is going through a process over a couple of years to try to raise everybody's assessed value to match what that market value is. So there's a difference between those two, but you have market value, assessed value. But then you don't pay tax on your assessed value necessarily, right? You start taking out everybody's basic star, enhanced stars, other exemptions that are available to people, and you end up with a taxable value of your home, which is even less, which is the 427. So the numbers in Wantagh are the average market value is about $547,000, I believe, which some heads will nod and say, okay, that's a little more realistic, but you don't pay tax on that amount. And again, that's an average for the school district. So really to your question about, I'm a resident, I'm a homeowner, how do I figure out what the bond proposal means to me? You put up numbers of, $9 a month, $10 a month on an average home. Is that average home real? It's an average. So, and it's the same conversation we have at budget time. In order to apply what that may mean to you, we always suggest that you take your own home's taxable value and gauge that against that $427,000 value. So if you had a $850,000 taxable value on your home, and maybe somebody does, maybe somebody doesn't, then in theory, you're double what those numbers are, right? So peg yourself to that $427,000 average home is really the best guide that we can give people in terms of what your own impact would be. And we use the average because the reality is that the average also happens to be the median in Wantagh, which means that 50% of the homes are going to pay something less than that, and 50% would pay something more. As much as people don't ever believe that somebody's taxes could go down or somebody would pay less, it does happen. It's a zero-sum game. So that's how we answer that. That's why we give those numbers, but that's the measure that people should use in order to gauge this particular impact on their home as best as we can project.
Thank you, Mr. Cedrone. I think the other question about bond was just about the propositions being standalone. Yes, so voters will be voting on each one of those propositions separately. However, Proposition 2 and 3 are contingent upon Proposition 1 passing. But 2 or 3 are not contingent upon each other. So just to clarify that. The Newsday article, the reason why we weren't in there is because we didn't receive that particular bucket of funding that they're referencing. Even when you pulled down their data chart, right, we're not listed in there because we didn't receive those dollars. The $700,000 really sat outside of that. That was discretionary funding. So when they, even when they pulled in the detail for each district, they pulled that off the SED website of the filing for that. We didn't have a filing for it because we didn't receive the funding. Once again, that was all tied to Title I funding. The good news is poverty in Wantagh is low. We fall below that 2% threshold. The bad news is it doesn't allow us to have access to funding that other districts have because of that. We don't control that. We don't give any input into that number. The Federal Census Bureau is what determines that poverty rate. They do that annually. There's a little bit of lag time. They lag behind about 2 years. When we first fell below that rate, we've had extensive conversation with the Census Bureau about that. And they reran the numbers for us multiple times just to make sure, because we were just a fraction below that. So annually we do that with them. And it's based on federal tax returns that are filed. That's a portion of what they pull. They pull from the census data that they do as well. And there's a few other factors there. So, and then as far as class size, that's an annual conversation we have with the board, that typically around budget time. We we always have difficult decisions to make around that. Those are conversations that are tied into big dollars. The New York City funding that you referenced came along with, I think it was about $500 million in funding from New York State for that. I will gladly take New York State's dollars to lower our class size, but they're not offering me any. But that would be the discussion around budget time. To give you an idea, every section that we add is about a $100,000 decision for us. So even lowering class size by 1 or 2 children, when you do that across the district, for example, this year when we looked at that, it was about a $600,000 decision to do that. With budget's already tight, we couldn't get as low as we would like to. But that's, once again, we'll have that annual conversation. And we'll continue to, I appreciate the reference in the police department. I know that's a good resource for us as well. So thank you for that.
Okay, thank you everybody for coming tonight. This meeting is adjourned.